Bali is loud, not just from its music or its nightlife, but from movement. Most of us came here looking for peace, for escape, but somehow found ourselves caught in the same rush we thought we left behind. So I went north, not Kintamani, not Padang Bay, but Bedugul. You may heard of this place for its lakes, Lake Bratan, Lake Buyan, and Lake Tamblingan. But between the lakes is something that most people overlook, underrate, and even forget. Maybe, just maybe, it is best for it to stay this way.
It took a while to get here. It's a beautiful morning right now. I am in Bedugul, and today we're not exactly going to do a hike, but we are going to explore a trail that some of you probably have learned about, but don't exactly know that it's actual nature reserve. So today we're gonna be exploring it a little bit, see what's inside it, and maybe we can learn something from it as well.
Thousands of years ago, this was a massive volcano, until it erupted and collapsed. The remnants become a caldera, filled with lakes, and in between, eruption kept happening until it formed these peaks: Mount Batukau, Mount Sangyang, Mount Tandem, the surrounding hills around it. Today, this place is a lush, mossy, dense forest, a testament of how long it has been since the last eruptions.
You know, contrast to Kintamani, the forest here is just really lush. Look at that. Lots of trees. And if you know that this place used to be a massive volcano, well, guess what? This place is way older than Kintamani's Batur. It's nuts. The place used to erupt over and over and over again, now is dormant, sleeping, turned into this lush green forest. Really cool.
Today, this forest serves an important role: a spring that flows to the rice terraces on Bali's lower elevation. It is also one of Bali's core habitat for an ecosystem of thousands of plants and animals. A 2004 survey recorded at least 56 species of birds here in Bedugul, around 18% of all birds found in Bali. Among them, 8 are protected under Indonesian law, and several are found nowhere else but Java and Bali. Species like the Javan kingfisher, the sooty-headed bulbul, and the crested serpent eagle, their calls echo between the lakes. Beyond the birds, little is known. Deers, and even some sources claimed that wildcats also live in this forest. But that's it. No recent public research, no open data. The forest remains a mystery, a black box of life. We don't know exactly how many species exist here, or how many have already disappeared. With the little knowledge of this ecosystem and the urgency of the energy needs of the people, this forest almost changed forever. In the 1990s, the Indonesian company Bali Energy Limited signed a deal with Pertamina to drill for geothermal power inside this forest. They found heat deep underground. Wells were drilled and proved the potential for up to 136 megawatts of energy, though this number may vary on different sources. But the project faced resistance. Locals saw the site as sacred. Environmental groups warned it would disturb the forest and the delicate lake system that feed much of Bali's water. In 2015, Bali's governor finally cancelled the project. The drills stopped. The forest stayed quiet, and the birds continue to sing their songs. But today, this forest faces a different problem. Some parts of this area are actually sealed off, protected for research and conservation. But not everyone listens. As of today, under the government's law, Mount Tapak, Mount Pohan, and Mount Lesung are supposed to be sealed off, only be available for access to the Balinese looking to worship on these mountains. But hikers still enter without permits, chasing views or misty selfies. The trails erode, the roots crack, the silence breaks. And yet, some locals earn a living from this activity. Some earn money as a trail ranger, and others guiding tourists. So what do we do when protecting a forest means hurting the people who depend on it? Maybe the balance we seek isn't as simple as we wish it was.
Now, with the place being relatively unpopular between the locals and also the tourists, this place still sees quite some hikers. That's not really a good thing, is it? Right now, I'm standing on one of the trails here that heads towards one of the summits that are supposed to be sealed off. Now, here's the thing. This trail was supposed to be used by the locals. This trail has already been here for hundreds of years, used by the ancestors to head towards the summit for worship. And today, quite some hikers are using it as a trail for hiking. Now, why is that a bad thing? Is that mainly this trail is not designed to be a hiking trail, so it cannot really support a massive volume of people walking through this trail. As you can see on the trail, it looks quite normal, but you could already see signs of damage, like the exposed roots. Now, this can be potentially a hazard, both for the hikers, the people who go worship, and it can also damage the trees around here, because once these are exposed, more water are gonna come through here. It's pretty much gonna be a drainage when rain comes, and it's just gonna further just damages the trail even more, and it's not gonna be a good thing. It's gonna be more exposed, and eventually tree might get overexposed with roots and it might die. It's a bad thing.
The problem here is clear. Should we leave the forest alone? It is hard to conclude a clear solution. But even without more definitive research on what is at stake, in plain sight, we could see the importance of this forest. It is a home, a refuge, a heart of Bali's natural ecosystem. The Balinese treated this forest as a sacred place, a place that gives balance to the productive, fast, loud, and rather chaotic life of the city. Maybe, just maybe, this forest is better off overlooked, underrated, and forgotten.
Nature can give us everything: resources, peace. But sometimes we, humans, forget the essence of what makes nature truly nature. We put our needs for Mother Nature itself and end up breaking it. It is where we draw the line that matters. What to touch and not touch. What to take, what to leave. But before we know when to draw the line, how to draw the line, where to draw the line, we must first need to understand the importance of nature itself for us, for all of us. And when do we put ourselves before nature? Yeah, that's what I think. I'll see you.